Hello everybody, my name is Mathis and welcome to a right on time update video. It's been about 6 months since my last one, a little under I think, maybe about 5.5. Life has been crazy, things have changed drastically in my career and in my personal life, and it's just been a hell of an adventure, I think is a good way to put it. The move itself came with a lot of hurdles, but in terms of content creation, one of the biggest ones was essentially starting from scratch, having an office that was empty and devoid of things that, you know, I loved having around, the things that made my office my own and I could attach to it. But as the months have gone on and I've slowly kind of gotten a bookcase back up and gotten my collection mailed over to me from my mom, slowly but surely, everything is coming together. And I've started the very bare bones process of setting up an actual set in one of my spare bedrooms here in the house. Back in New England, I didn't have a set. I just had my office that also doubled as a set, and I had a very small amount of space there, and I had to somehow make a green screen work in there as well when I wanted to use one. That won't be the case. At least it won't be the case when the set is set up. Right now, I've still probably got another 6 months or so before that thing is up and running to a functional degree, but we're on our way. And until then, our office actually looks like some sort of backdrop that isn't just a blank white wall to look at. Still got a lot of decorating to do in the office, but it's starting to finally feel like my office again. And that alone is something I didn't realize I even needed emotionally until like this stuff started going up. And then it felt like my roots finally got planted in this house, which is a very superficial thing to say, especially about just boxes of games. But that office back in New England that I was in was really where I built my career, and having to say goodbye to that and then box everything up was heartbreaking. And now I'm finally getting it all back up and it feels like things are going again, which is a great segue over to the state of my many projects. This is going to be a long video. This is going to be a Mathis focused video. So if you're looking and curious about any of my projects or series, from YouTube to Chilluminati to my vampire stuff, to things like Kenshi or Zomboid, stick around. I'm gonna address all of it, but this is gonna be a wide swath of topics that I'm gonna cover. So let's jump over to the Mathis channel, at least briefly, because obviously you've seen a large change over the past 4 or 5 months into the kinds of content I'm putting up, what I'm putting up, and the structure of the videos that are going up there, as well as more Dean stuff going up, which we will talk about at the end of the video. And the real reason behind that is another project, Chilluminati. I don't think there are a lot of people on this channel who realize Chilluminati is not a YouTube podcast. I've seen a lot of people asking, why don't you do a Chilluminati channel specifically and put it on a separate channel? And while I initially toyed with that idea many years ago, in the end, just doesn't matter. YouTube itself is insanely frustrating to work within, the algorithm, what it pushes, what it wants. As time goes on, YouTube seems to lean more toward network TV style things to push forward and away from the independent creator. And while we've recognized it had started years ago, it really hasn't stopped. And a podcast only channel would tank. It just wouldn't do well for varying different reasons. You can go out and look and see all the varying different podcast only channels and see their varying degrees of success. It's just not a great place to focus on podcasting. However, unlike YouTube, when you're doing a podcast, usually you're focusing on your audio listeners, your people on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes. And the great thing about doing a podcast not on YouTube is that there's no algorithm to worry about. It just alerts the person and lets them know an episode is dropped. YouTube now, the subscribe button has become useless. The subscribe button literally means nothing. Number of subscribers literally means nothing. It's all about the bell, and even the bell has sub options to choose from. So it's all incredibly meaningless, and you're consistently working against YouTube when you're trying to create things. However, on the flip side, my Chilluminati project is also the reason you're seeing a lot less of me doing things on YouTube, because Chilluminati has fucking exploded. For those who don't really follow me on YouTube, my main project and my main focus is Chilluminati. It has been for a little while, and it has doubled that since I've moved here. It is the majority of my energy and the majority of my time. The numbers for Chilluminati have skyrocketed, and it's really difficult to kind of put into context just how fast we are growing. As Chilluminati has grown month over month, the amount of dedication and time it requires from me has also grown alongside it for obvious purposes. On top of just the regular show that we put out every week, we are a growing team. No longer is it just myself, Jesse, and Alex. We are now about a 6-person team with researchers and artists that have joined us, and that's going to keep growing. I have grand dreams for Chilluminati, and I'm gonna chase them, as I've had dreams for many of the things that I've done and have hit success to varying degrees. But Chilluminati's on a steamroll, and I can't stop it. About a year and a half ago, we actually did our very first live show in Boston. We did a venue that was about 150-person seater, and we sold just over 100 tickets, which was impressive and really exciting for me. And to give you some context, we're about to do our second live show in LA in October. And this venue is a 450-person venue, and we're about sold out. This is the first real live show like this I've done, and this has required a bunch of my time as we're setting up exclusive merch and we're working with people, and we've got another team that we've got to work with and a tour group that we have to work with. The management of the theater wants certain things for exclusive merch. We've got VIP stuff to work on. There's so much back-end stuff that I've never had to worry about before that I now have to make sure I am spending my time on. And I'm extremely grateful. Chilluminati has changed my life entirely. I could walk away from YouTube, never create another video again, never post another podcast again, and genuinely say goodbye to that format. I would be more than okay. But that actually directly connects to my Mathis content. Because of Chilluminati, I have been freed from the shackles of YouTube. No longer am I worrying about the algorithm and what needs to be done to make sure my video is seen by as many eyes as possible. Instead, I can go back to what I started YouTube for and go back to creating the stuff that I wanted to. When I first started YouTube 10 years ago, I was doing 2 types of content. The kind of content that I wanted to create, which was like scripted, retrospective, looks at games and why some might have been canceled, and just my own personal opinion about certain franchises, while also creating Let's Play stuff. And at the time, while the scripted stuff did better than the Let's Play stuff, it was never enough where I could focus only on the scripted stuff and not worry about the Let's Play stuff. While the Let's Play stuff, I could churn out a whole lot faster. I didn't need to do any research, get gameplay footage quietly, write scripts, do heavy editing. I could just play the game, do some light audio balancing, edit very quickly, and throw it up within the same 24 hours, where a scripted video at the time probably took me like 2 weeks to make. But as the years have churned on and YouTube has changed, Let's Playing has slowly subsided as a primary focus for gaming content, not just with my channel, in general. And a lot of that has to do with Twitch. But as the years have gone on, the Let's Play format on YouTube has become less and less prevalent, especially with the rise of Twitch. Why watch a 20 or 30 minute video when you can head over and watch somebody play a game for 3 hours and get basically what you're looking for? Yes, there's a lot of people who love that kind of structured narrative style play, or, you know, getting chunks and chapters and you can watch it as you want. More and more people are now just bringing their Twitch stuff over to YouTube, and the VOD system on Twitch, while pretty bad compared to YouTube, is still functional. And if you're looking for footage of a game that released that day and a YouTuber that you like hasn't been able to get a code, you can go to Twitch and watch any number of people play that game, and you can get a good idea as to how it plays, and you might even find a new streamer that you will like along the way. In that, I've moved most of my Let's Playing stuff over to Twitch. I genuinely think, for the most part, I am hanging up my hat when it comes to YouTube Let's Playing. A lot of that has to do with how YouTube treats that kind of content now, and how Twitch is just a better platform for it. But obviously it also has to do with the fact that I now have to pick and choose where I spend my time, and spending hours, you know, doing Let's Plays would no longer leave time for all the other stuff that I'd rather be doing at this point. So you're gonna see a lot more structured, scripted stuff from me. Being freed from YouTube in a weird way, like a genie finally getting the wish that he could just be a free person, I can now do more structured content. And while some of that content may not do as well as some Let's Plays, other parts of it will do better. But in the end, I'm going to love making it regardless of how many people see it. And that's really the key. And that's really the key for my own personal peace of mind and happiness. So moving forward, you're gonna see a lot less videos from me, as in you're not gonna see them every day. You're gonna see a couple a week, but each one is gonna have a lot of time put into it. They're gonna be scripted. Dean's gonna have a lot more editing in them. And it's gonna be me sharing my passion of games, both new and old, with you in a way that I prefer to do it. Now that might bring about questions for some of you about Project Zomboid and Kenshi. Let me set the record straight for a couple of things. Zomboid, I will always play. I have been getting the itch to play again, but you're likely just gonna see me play it over on Twitch. I do not think you will see much Zomboid here on YouTube anymore, simply because if I go that route, it will eat a ton of my time. However, when it comes to Kenshi, things are gonna be a little different. When I ended Kenshi Season 2 a few years ago, I knew what I wanted Season 3 to be. Dean has known what I want to do for Season 3. He knows the story I want to tell. I've pitched to him over the years many times, little adjustments as things have gone. However, there was a technical aspect for a long time that was preventing me from doing Season 3. Something that just didn't allow me to tell the story in the way that I wanted to tell it, and it would feel almost forced, I think. However, the other night, I came up with a way to get around it, and I think it's the perfect answer. But now I'm full on ready, I think, to start chipping away at Kenshi Season 3. This doesn't mean you're gonna see it tomorrow, it doesn't mean you're gonna see it next week. The way I wanna do Kenshi Season 3 is not gonna be the way I did it before. You're not gonna get 3 videos a week. You're probably gonna get 1, maybe 2, but they're gonna be longer chunks of gameplay that I'm gonna have Dean edit down much more tight, and probably more, I guess you call them machinima scenes in the in-betweens of like gameplay. And you're likely gonna see like a 2-minute trailer preview for Kenshi Season 3 before you even see the series. And the reason that's for me on this channel, that's kind of an exception to the like no more Let's Playing rule, is because there's more story there for me to tell. We have more camera control. We can make it more cinematic than we can make Zomboid or any other of the games that I can tell a story with. Zomboid, I can still do that story style gameplay on Twitch the same way I was doing it on YouTube. There is really no difference between the two beyond a guitar opening that I could literally play on Twitch before I go live. Kenshi though, there's a lot of editing, there's a lot of camera work, there's a lot of just back-end work that no one really saw in the first 2 seasons that I really want to do for Season 3. So as long as I can do that with Kenshi and then the sequel to Kenshi 2, I think you will always see that kind of gameplay every so often pop up when I have a story I just can't get out of my head. Which brings me to the wrap up of the Mathis channel. More Dean! So, the big thing with me being like, hey, I don't have to fucking worry about YouTube anymore. YouTube can go back to being a hobby and something fun that I can just enjoy creating for again. I wanted to bring Dean onto this adventure. Dean has been with me hand in hand since he was like 16 and I was like 18. Really like the first 6 months of me doing YouTube like 10 years ago. And we have worked on and off together for so many years and we've been really good friends for almost as long. And when I was thinking about how I wanted to take the Mathis channel, Dean has always, wanted to create more content, and I think Dean makes amazing content, whether it be Let's Play or scripted stuff. He's incredibly talented, and I want to put him in front of a bigger audience, and I think we could work well together. So Dean is an official partner, so to speak, of the Mathis channel now. He's going to be putting up videos. Some of them might be scripted, kind of like the movie one that you saw from a little before. If he does some video game stuff, it'll probably be a lot different in flavor to my Mathis stuff. And Let's Plays will be coming from him as well because he wants to do some Let's Play stuff, so he's going to be putting up Let's Play stuff. It's not that Dean is the reason you're seeing less of my stuff. It's just that since I'm putting up less stuff on my own, why not have Dean jump in? So Dean is a 50-50 partner in the Mathis channel now, and it's really great to have him on board because in essence, he's been a 50-50 partner of this channel longer than it's been officially known, really. It's finally time to make it stamp it official. I hope you're excited to see more Dean. I'm excited to see what else he brings to the channel. The very last thing that we're going to be talking about here is my tabletop RPG stuff. There's really only one show that I'm doing now, and that's Stitch of Fate. If you're curious about the other ones, like some people on Twitter have been, this is where you're going to get it. I'm pretty much going to be sticking with Stitch of Fate exclusively, I think, at this point. We have ideas to blow that universe out and do a bunch of different shows, and you'll see me do a bunch of other things. But Stitch of Fate is really kind of my main show now. Lost Initiative, I kind of stepped away from back in February. I don't think you're going to see a season 3 of Vampire. You may see a season 3, but there were some back-end things with the show where me and my cast were discussing things with the showrunners, rather the Roll For It people who kind of run the channel, and We just unfortunately couldn't see eye to eye on a few things that, you know, really mattered to us moving forward. And since we couldn't come to a middle ground, we mostly stepped away. I don't know if you might see, you know, some of them on other shows on Roll For It, or maybe one or two of them. But overall, I don't think you will see a Vampire Season 3, which is really, really unfortunate. The story for that show, we might finish in private. Maybe one day I'll do a Q&A on Twitch and tell you how I planned on ending it and how the major beats were meant to play out and why maybe we didn't kind of continue with Roll For It. But we tried. We really did try, and it was, you know, it is what it is. That's just the nature of this industry sometimes. And, you know, like I said, maybe one day I'll talk a little bit more about what happened there. But I'm not entirely sure, because there's some, like I said, there's some things on the air where maybe we might do a season 3 in the future at some point. But at this moment, my confidence is at kind of a low that we'll ever see that finish up. And if I ever get confirmation that we are definitely not doing a season 3, I will 100% be an open book with everybody and let you all know kind of why and what happened there. Stitch of Fate, however, has been incredible. That show has been growing pretty nonstop as well. You know, it's rather successful. Working with that team, working with those players has been a gift. They are such incredible and talented voice actors, every single one of them. And I'm not gonna lie, man, like season 1 was mind-blowing for me to work with Mark Meer. Working with the voice of Commander Shepard, a voice that I kind of grew up with and played, you know, those games over and over again. They meant so much to me. To meet Mark, and Mark is such a sweet, sweet human being, and he's just an incredible dude, and just somebody I'm to have the honor and pleasure of now knowing and working with. That was a dream thing for me. And we have some other dream cast down the line that I can't spoil because we don't have any dates locked in yet for them, only that they've confirmed that they would be interested in doing it. So if you really want to check out what I'm doing in the tabletop world, check out Stitch of Fate. It's a podcast. It's highly edited with sound effects and music. We really are trying to bring a cinematic storybook kind of feel to it, as opposed to just 4 friends sitting around a table playing a game. When you're doing these kinds of shows, you really need to do something to make it special. And I am so confident that our show Stitch of Fate has something special about it that I would encourage you all to go check it out. If you're just passing fans of like Critical Role or LA by Night or the other high profile games, give Stitch of Fate a listen. I really think we have something special going there. Well, the numbers also seem to show the same. Honestly, that's about it. Everything has been good. I know, you know, there's a little complaining going in there with YouTube, but that's always how it is. It won't ever stop me from doing YouTube. I think YouTube is still too important to my own creative process and creative life. But over the past couple years and 6 months, I've really transitioned from YouTuber and streamer to podcaster who does YouTubing and streaming as a hobby again. So if you want more of my kind of just unscripted long form play stuff, head over to twitch.tv/MathisGames. That's where you're going to see it. If you enjoy more YouTube focused stuff, you're going to see more scripted stuff from me here, and Let's Play stuff is going to kind of come from Dean or when Dean streams. And if you've been with the podcast and supporting Chilluminati since the beginning or any point in time, you jumped in and loved it, thank you guys. This has been the most life-changing thing in the world to me, and it is on this, I'm just on this crazy roller coaster ride, and I'm just gonna work my absolute hardest to provide the very best content I can for that show, for all of you guys and fans out there. I cannot wait to keep doing more stuff with Chilluminati. We have so many plans to just do more cool shit and bring more people on and have more guests on that the further we go, the more of my dream, I guess, I capture, and just being able to share the weird world that we live in with you guys in podcast form. I get giddy, dude. It's a passion of mine, man. I'm the kid who in high school and in elementary school was researching aliens and ghosts. So just to be able to talk about that stuff in a comedic way is so much fun. So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for everything, for YouTube support, for Chilluminati and Twitch support, and for really giving love to Dean as he makes his way onto this channel full time. I wouldn't be able to do it without any of you guys. This has genuinely been one of the wildest 10 years of my life, and I hope for the next 20 or 30 more, we keep doing some nutty stuff, because I do not plan on stopping anytime soon. Thank you guys. I love you all so much, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Till then, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.